Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today we're going to be talking about beating the odds. I have a guest on the show that's going to share his story about when people thought that he wasn't going to make it and he proved them wrong. So get you a snack and something to drink and come on back because we got a good show ahead for you guys. So stay tuned. Okay, Daniel. Once again, welcome back and thank you for just being a guest on our show and just taking some time out to kind of share your story. For me personally, your story is very uplifting, and it just kind of tells me that not only just your story, but my story and other people's story as well, that, people can go through things in life and there's light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So we're gonna just let you share your the other part of your story and just kind of reintroduce yourself, and we're gonna just jump right into it.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me back, of course.
Yeah.
My name is Daniel Bejarano. I'm an employment developer with a mental health agency called T-Core.
Yeah.
And been doing this for 20 years with them and 33 years in the field period working with mental health, starting from homelessness all the way up to now.
Yeah. Okay. So Daniel, we're gonna wing it a little bit because I want to stick to kind of like what the topic it talks about is against our odds. Somebody told you at one point in your life that you wasn't gonna make it for whatever reason. Let's just start there.
Well, most of my life, especially once I became a teenager, people were telling me that I had mental health. There's behaviors that are very destructive. I used to get in a lot of fights for no reason, lose my temper, feel lost, forget where I was supposed to be. So people carried that. Nobody ever gave me direction. What they would say is, no, Daniel, you need to be in the hospital.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, and just get mad and walk away, So I spent a lot of vacations in the gated community called jail.
Okay.
And then in a higher up level gated community called prison.
Okay.
Because I ended up doing a bank robbery.
Okay.
I was so disillusioned about being able to do anything from all the negative that everybody gave me with no type of construction or path.
Yeah.
That I try to rob a bank and try to do it suicide by cop.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that happened is when I was growing up in Stockton, a Chinese neighborhood took me in.
Okay.
And they taught me some self-defense.
Okay.
So the one thing I know is you can't do is grab me.
Okay.
So I robbed this federal bank. And my thought was the only way they're going to stop me is they have to shoot me.
Yeah.
That's the only way. I wore an all-white jumpsuit with a big red tote bag.
Okay.
Could have done a Target commercial, actually.
Yeah.
But I went in there, robbed the bank, and actually got away with it.
Okay, wow.
Helicopters were flying over, police driving by, and you think most people would be happy, saying, hey, I got away with the bank robbery.
Yeah.
I went to my friend's house, and I told them what I did and that they had to leave. And they got scared and took off. And the only thing that went through my head is, I can't even do that right.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody had me believing.
Yeah.
So I had a 38 with me. I pulled it out and shot myself in the chest.
Wow.
I walked outside, and by the time I got to the steps, that's when I dropped. Boom. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. I guess I'd been in a coma for 3 weeks, didn't know.
Yeah.
But I had these dreams telling me that it wasn't time for me to be dead yet, and life can be better. It can change. Trust me, it took a lot of practice on my part.
Yeah.
Went into the prison system, of course, because right after that, they showed somebody that they claimed robbed the bank. So I turned myself in.
Oh, wow.
I said he didn't do it, I did.
So you was actually in prison, and they was looking at it.
No, I was in the hospital.
Okay, so you was in the hospital.
Yeah, I was paralyzed from the neck down. And they told me that if I'm lucky, I'll live 3 more days.
Wow.
But I was watching the television, and on the news, they showed where they grabbed somebody saying they did the bank robbery.
Right.
And my body told me that, no, I have to turn myself in to pay the price for my consequences.
Yeah.
You know, if I want life to change, to get better, you know, quit hiding from stuff.
Yeah.
So I called the federal marshals from the hospital, and I turned myself in.
Wow.
They wanted to give me 20 years if I kept pushing it. And I said, no, well, I gave you the right to give me the 20 years because I did the robbery. I'll tell you where the money is. I didn't do it for the money.
Yeah.
I did it because you guys were supposed to kill me, and you didn't.
Wow.
Well, before you know it, everything started working on my body. I had a breathing tube. I had a bag to take acid out of my stomach. I had a colostomy bag, everything. Well, things started getting better.
Yeah. So just to back a little bit, you wanted them to, you robbed the bank so that they can kill you.
Yep. Suicide by cop.
And so why did you want them to actually kill you? Was it due to your life wasn't going in the direction you felt it was going in? Did you not? Was it due to, you know, you didn't have a support or?
Well, the first part was I didn't have no support.
You did not have any. Okay.
Yeah. People would tell me, "Oh, you're such a nice guy," but nobody gave me direction of how I could be a better guy.
Yeah.
So I got tired of struggling, not having anything, being hurt all the time, because I didn't know how to be in relationships.
Right.
So those were always bad. They always ended up, you know, breaking up, them leaving. So all that just made me think, well, maybe they are right. Maybe I am worthless. Maybe there's no reason for me.
Yeah.
And in prison, you kind of learn the same thing because they guaranteed me I would be back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I did I did a 6-year stretch. That's what they gave me.
Yeah.
But in that 6 years, the first year, they told me not to talk to the people from Southern California because they're gang affiliated and they won't like me.
Yeah.
The kind of support I do now with the company I work for is the same thing I did in prison. I'm a real good artist.
Okay.
So I drew on envelopes, wrote love letters because oldies.
Yeah.
Knew how to write love letters, did designs for people on their envelopes. So I talked to everybody. Well, that first year, the guy, one of the head gang members from LA, walks up to me and he says, "Hey, Daniel, I know that you're not this kind of guy. So whoever's in your room, you guys will be safe. But there's going to be a riot tonight."
Oh, wow.
And this was in Colorado. 150 people died that night, and they didn't even crack my door open.
Wow.
And that's when I started understanding that it is okay to give. It is okay to help, to be kind. People are not going to run over you just because you're that way. If anything, people are going to protect you. They're going to want to keep you safe. They want to be around you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change things.
Yeah.
When I got out of prison, I met a psychiatrist, and the first thing the psychiatrist said is because of the severity of your mental health, for the amount of time that you've had it, your disruptive family, you should be happy getting SSI and subsidy housing. That's all you should be asking for. We'll help you with it. You know, we can do the paperwork, whatever you needed. I said, well, it was nice knowing you, and I walked away and got myself a different psychiatrist.
So when did you, at what age did, okay, so were you clinically diagnosed at that time, or did you just knew that you had some mental health
That's
challenges?
when I was diagnosed.
Okay, so how old were you when you were?
30.
You were 30. So before that, did you realize that something potentially was going on with you mentally?
I knew something was wrong.
Okay.
Because I didn't see any reason why I was so deeply suicidal all the time.
Okay.
I mean, I took pills. I tried driving crazy. I used to bang my head against things hoping that I get brain damage.
Yeah.
Everything you could think of. I tried cutter. I mean, I look like a railroad track. I cut so many times.
Yeah.
I've done everything, and it didn't work. And that's why I was 23 years old when I robbed that bank.
Okay.
And that's when I shot myself.
Okay.
I didn't get out of prison until I was 30.
Okay.
And that was the first time somebody said, "Man, Daniel, your issues sound familiar to me." But I met with a therapist that helped me.
Okay, and that's when you was clinically diagnosed. So tell me what happened in your mind at that point when you finally got the clinically diagnosed. Like what did they say was your diagnosis first of all?
The therapist that I met, the one that helped me, he sat with me and he explained 4 different ways you can have a diagnosis of mental health.
Okay.
Situational, environmental, something dramatic happened in your life, or drug induced, or you can even have a chemical imbalance, or it could be bits of all of it.
Okay.
But it is workable.
Yeah.
And then he said, medication is not a cure-all, but it's a start to help you start having cognitive thinking.
Yeah.
It's not going to get you up outside when it's raining to take a walk when you're feeling suicidal, but you could process, well, let me just get an umbrella.
Yeah.
But you have to have that action. You
Yeah.
do. That was the first time I ever started thinking, wow, you mean somebody's telling me that I can get better?
Yeah.
I don't have to live like this? Because everybody else was telling me, no, that's typical for a Latino male.
Yeah.
You guys are angry all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to be mad. No, you are born to be jealous. None of it was a fact.
Right. So what was your diagnosis?
They diagnosed me schizoaffective
Okay.
with bipolar. And then when my diabetes got out of control, which we didn't find out till later, the major depression kicked in because I used to be extremely suicidal when the diabetes gets too high.
Yeah.
Or in other words, when I'm not eating the right foods,
Yeah.
all of a sudden my suicidal ideations get to the extreme.
Okay.
And that's when I would try to commit suicide, try to hurt myself, do different things.
Yeah.
But once I understood that, I changed my diet right off the bat. That lowered the depressive stuff. Still have it, but it took away the suicidal ideations.
Yeah.
So instead of me cutting myself or wanting to shoot myself, if I get depressed now or suicidal, the first thing that pops in my head, well, I'm gonna walk in front of a car, but the car has to be parked and there can't be nobody in it.
Yeah.
So I understand the differences now, which
Yeah.
before I couldn't.
Yeah.
So the medications for me for the first 10 years. So what happened is after 6 months of being on medications, one day it was sprinkling outside. I was kind of wallowing in my couch, already doing the isolating stuff, not wanting to answer the phone, started closing the curtains. But then I noticed it's just sprinkling.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going for a walk without thought. Got up, took off for a walk. About a few blocks went by. I called my therapist and left him a message. I said, if you were here, I would give you a hickey. This is the first time in my life I've ever had cognitive thinking where I could get myself out of a situation.
Yeah.
But then that's when I started reading books, really started going to groups, started going to self-support groups, men empowerment groups, started reading cognitive thinking books,
Yeah.
Joel Osteen, Billy Graham books to find a common denominator, not the religious aspect. I just wanted to find what a common denominator was.
Yeah.
Which in all of them, everything that I've read really all started from listening to your heart.
Yeah.
Following that part of you, because that's not going to lead you wrong. If
Yeah.
it tells you you're a beautiful person, then you really are a beautiful person.
Yeah.
If it's telling you it's okay to be kind, it is. So even though they already had told me that not to expect anything in life,
Yeah.
3 days after I was out of prison, I was already working for Big Old Tires.
Yeah.
Because something told me, don't come out with that mentality that you have mental health
Right.
or that you're an ex-prisoner. No, you were in a gated community where there's things that you learned.
Yeah.
You paid a price for something you did wrong. Now that you get out, let's move ahead.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Big Old Tires?
Yeah, I have.
My first job.
Yeah.
I walked there the first day I got out of prison. The next day, I walked over there, 6 o'clock in the morning. The guy shows up at 6:30. Can I help you? I said, yeah, I'm looking for a job. I'm not hiring.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I left. I showed
Yeah.
up the second day. He goes,
Yeah.
well, I told you I'm not hiring. I go, yeah, but I don't think people like this kind of job.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to quit.
Yeah.
What's your name? I said, Daniel. He gave me his name, shook my hand.
Yeah.
I showed up the third day. He goes, well, if I hire you, how do you, I know you're going to like the job? I said, I'm not. But the difference between me and who you have now, they don't have to like the color of the walls and quit and have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I quit, I go back to prison.
Yeah.
He goes, well, how can I depend on you? I said, well, you don't even pay me. I'll walk 3 miles here every day to see you and 3 miles home.
Wow.
So if you're paying me, I'm going to do even more.
Yeah.
Come back Monday, son.
So you actually walked 3 miles there and back?
Yep, every day. I worked for him for 6 years.
Wow, wow. So Daniel, something happened something happened in when you was incarcerated where I felt like it clicked, like something, because before that you had this, kind of like this irrational behavior, so to speak, suicidal. But when you went to prison, it seems like, that's when things started to change for you mentally, in a sense. Like it felt like, do you feel like people start showing you good what am I looking for? Like just the intentions that.
No, what happened for me is, so when I went to prison, so remember, before I went in, I couldn't get anybody to help me for nothing.
Right.
If I'm hungry and they had 2 sandwiches, they'll say, I don't got nothing. When I ended up in prison, when still had the same behaviors as I am, talk to people, like being around people. But in prison, they accepted me.
Okay, that's okay.
They didn't look at me as
okay.
broken.
That's that. So well, okay, that's powerful because I feel like you felt like you was around your peers. You felt like you was around people that were like you.
They simply respected me.
Right, exactly, and that's powerful.
If I wanted to help, they didn't say, "Well, no, because you're from that side."
Right.
No, they said, "No, Daniel, thank you."
Yeah.
They appreciated anything you were willing to do with them.
Yeah.
I got to meet so many different cultures.
Yeah.
Real cultures that I've never seen in my life. Real Indians wearing beads, talking Indian.
Yeah.
Being the kindest people. But then I got to learn who they are and how they really process things.
Yeah.
But they accepted me. I got to learn gang members in Southern California that not supposed to like me, but yet were the ones that said, "Daniel, we know you're not this kind of person," respected who I was, and said, "Whoever goes in your room, you guys will be safe."
Yeah.
We got to see 150 people die and nobody touched us.
Yeah.
There was nothing special about me except for they respected who I chose to be.
Yeah.
How can I not be empowered by that?
Yeah.
That's what started opening the gate for me and said, "You know what? This is what I want to learn how to do." That's when I said, "You know what? I want to learn how to love people without them having to love me back. How can I do that?"
Yes, that's
and
powerful.
changed it.
Yeah.
You don't have to love me for me to love you. I'm going to do everything I can for you. Whether you want it or not, I will draw you 50 paths. You decide when you want to do them, and I'll be there to help you when you're ready. You tell me, because that's what the prison did for me.
Right.
The warden even tried. So I even tell you that the third year they sent me to a different prison. In that prison, there was going to be a riot again. I got in the middle and stuff. So there was a gentleman, an African-American gentleman, that when I was in the first prison, he picked on a small guy. So I was going to get in a fight with him. And I said, pick on somebody your size and protected the small guy.
Yeah.
Well, the small guy ended up being the ass. Me and him got into it, and I had to hurt him.
Okay.
And then the other guy that was supposed to be the enemy that I tried to fight, I got extremely sick in the prison. They don't care when you get sick in there.
Yeah.
He was stealing tea and different types of food and bringing it to my cell so that I could have something to eat and tea to drink for me to get better. We became real good friends.
Yeah.
When they changed me to another prison, there was going to be a riot. And again, it was going to be a racial riot. So I got in the middle. And I said, you know what? I used to call him Amps. I said, Amps is one of my good friends, and he's my brother now. Yeah. I already know you guys are packing your bodies up with books and stuff and magazines so that you won't get stabbed. If I stab you, I'm going to stab you in the neck. I said, let's make it simple. Yeah. I know where you're not protected. If you hurt Amps, my friend, I will attack you because he's my brother.
Yeah.
And then he stepped up and he said, you know what? The same for me with Daniel. If you guys hurt Daniel, I'm going to attack you because he's my friend. And then I was able to tell him, you know what? The two that started the fight, why don't you guys walk off over there and be men?
Yeah.
Go out there and do it because you started it. Don't be a coward and have everybody else jump into it.
Yeah.
The warden actually let me go home for a whole year after that riot was stopped because it didn't happen.
Yeah.
He thanked me for talking.
Yeah.
But I told him, I'm only giving you what they taught me at the first prison.
Yeah.
They taught me be respectful to everybody.
Yeah.
You want to fight, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do it over there, though. Don't involve innocent people.
Yeah.
Change that.
Yeah. So it sounds like, Daniel, you start to find purpose in your life. Start to find purpose and some type of hope in your life in the midst of a quote-unquote dark situation. So I want to fast forward a little bit. So when you got out, you said it was raining. You started to, start to have positive experience with yourself without anybody being there. So from that point, what step did you start to take to take care of yourself?
Well, the one thing I had to do, which was the hardest, was look in the mirror and see my defects.
Okay.
And tell myself, well, if I get in a relationship, I'm going to let that relationship stop me from doing anything that I know I need to do. Because if a girl calls me and says, hey, Daniel, can we have sex instead? I'm going to call in sick. I'm going to take off over there and lose my job. That's how much willing I was allowing somebody else to take that power away from me.
Okay.
I had to learn to get out of relationships and instead say, you know what, Daniel, work on you first.
Okay.
What do I need to learn how to do? Well, not give your power to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I learned, I worked for Volunteers of America. Another epiphany for me was I was working in there. We had a worker that didn't like to do what we were supposed to, right? In the morning you get up, you wash clothes, and you dry some if you have time.
Yeah.
The other person didn't like doing it.
Yeah.
And then one day it hit me. Why am I getting mad at what somebody else is doing when I'm not their boss? I'm not the supervisor. I'm not the manager. I'm an employee just like him.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling that there's something missing, why don't I just fill that spot in?
Yeah.
It's okay if I want to work harder.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
So I went up to that worker and I told him, I said, you know what? I am so sorry that I've had attitude with you. It's just I felt that I was supposed to micromanage and you weren't doing what I felt you needed to. But that's not my place. I am so sorry, and you will never see attitude out of me again.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Be you.
Yeah.
I need to be me. So what I did is, besides washing clothes, and we're doing it for homeless people.
Yeah.
So besides washing clothes, I started drying as many clothes as I could, and then I started folding their clothes.
Right.
So everybody was bringing their clothes on when my shift came on because they knew what I would do for them.
Yeah.
Watching them smile when they would come in and pick up the clothes already folded, to me is like, wow.
Yeah.
I just helped somebody else feel the value.
Yeah.
That's when I fell in love and wanted to do this kind of work. That's when I said, I want to work the mental health field.
Yeah.
How do I do that? So I took myself to a homeless shelter and volunteered for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I could learn how to be an employee,
Yeah.
not a micromanager.
Yeah.
That's not going to not put up with my stuff. They're not going to let me fool around with the women. They'll call me on it real quick and let me go. But I needed that structure so I could learn who I was.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped me since.
Right. So, because for different people, it's different things for different people. Like it sounds like with you, you realize that you can be of a help to other people, and that those are things that keep you living in your recovery. It seems like volunteering or just the peer support is something that seems like it helps you to stay to keep you taking care of yourself. Did you at that time realize that because once again people didn't think you was going to make it because of your destructive behavior, but did you realize at this time all the things that you started to do for yourself, did you realize that you were actually your lifestyle was actually making them out of a lie, so to speak? Or was it just one of those things where you just were so excited that your life is changing now that you wasn't even thinking about the things that these people said about you?
What I did is I had to let go of not thinking about tomorrow or about yesterday.
Okay.
And just living the moment.
Okay.
And what I did is I utilized, well, first of all, I told myself I'm not broken.
Yeah.
There's just things that nobody taught me. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So say I tried something 1,000 times and it didn't work. Well, I know 1,000 different ways it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't mean I failed. I just know how it doesn't work and be able to change it. And to me, as everybody that called me names, all that, some of them I look at now, they smile at me when they see, still probably won't help me if I ended up losing my job.
Yeah.
But the fun part is, I don't need them.
Yeah.
I know how to survive now.
Yeah.
I know how to push forward. And like I said, what I see in the mirror is not how I present myself.
Yeah.
I've had people think that I'm conceited, and I'm like, thank you for thinking that. You don't know how hard I work to give that presentation.
Right, exactly.
So I've learned to really embrace anybody with any thought they have. If somebody says, I've had clients that thought I was African American and are talking bad about African Americans.
Yeah.
Well, they like this kind of food. They don't like that. I said, man, if I meet one, I'll ask them.
Yeah.
Well, then, I don't like Mexicans. Mexicans do this, Mexicans do that. I said, well, okay, if I see one, I'll let them know.
Yeah.
But to me, is I don't tell them what I am. I just say, okay, if I find one, I'll ask them.
Yeah.
To me, is
I'm
American.
Yeah.
I live in a land where I'm able to do what I need to do if I choose to do it.
Yeah.
But I have to choose to.
Yeah.
I have to want to get better. I need to want to get healthier. Taking care of a grandchild at 59, trust me, is the hardest thing I have ever done because it really pulled me out of my box.
Yeah.
But yet, it was the best thing I've ever done because I continue to be able to give my heart.
Exactly.
I continue to be able to help other people.
Yeah.
I love sharing stories with clients to let them know, no, if you choose not to succeed, then you're on the right track. If you choose to succeed, let me show you the multiple paths that I could teach you. I could teach you to get connected to school. I could teach you GED. I could get you your diploma. I can help you connect to services out there to help you. Use the services that are available to you because right now is if you have mental health, that means you get services that people pay thousands of dollars for, except you get it free.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't look at that you're getting it because of mental health. You're not getting it because of mental health. You're getting it because of the abilities you're showing with mental health.
Yeah.
A man with a prosthetic leg doesn't say, hey, you know what, I can't do nothing. I don't need a prosthetic leg. Let me just sit in my chair if he wants to succeed.
Yeah.
If he wants to succeed, he's going to ask, what kind of prosthetic legs do you have?
Yeah.
Can I try different ones till I find the one that's comfortable?
Yeah.
How often do I have to walk to do? Wow.
Yeah.
The fastest man in the world had 2 prosthetic legs.
Yeah. Daniel, what would you say to somebody who were in a bad situation, so to speak, whether it's physically or mentally, and they don't see no hope at all, and everything around them is just not going their way. They don't physically have no support from friends or family. They're suicidal. Like, what type of advice would you give that particular person if they was watching this show right now?
Well, one of the first things I try to teach people is if you're struggling, bad relationships, you have to really stop and ask yourself, am I choosing to be here?
Okay.
You're not forced to be in a bad relationship. You choose to.
Yeah.
If you choose to wallow in depression, it's not that you have to be depressed. You're choosing to sit in the house.
Right.
But just as easy, you could choose to get out.
Okay.
Talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
Talk to positive friends. And what I mean by positive friends, they don't say,
remember, like, what if they don't have like no support, like no friends? Because sometimes, Daniel, people like you described, like how our past was, sometimes people don't have like no support, no friends, nothing positive, and they just out there alone. And that's why I think a lot of times people do get suicidal and do things that may be irrational because they don't see no hope. So what if this person like don't have no hope? Because there are extreme cases like that when people don't have like not one single person that will be there to support them. So what if they was in that situation, kind of like how your situation was?
The difference between when I was younger and the services that are available now, is nowadays you could call a hotline. Mm-hmm. You could go to a crisis respite program.
Exactly.
You could step into any mental health program and just say, you know what, these are the things I'm not understanding.
Yeah.
And people will share with you. Now you really have the opportunity to understand that, no, it's not just you.
Exactly.
There's millions that are struggling like we did, but there's also millions that succeeded because they chose to push past. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And past doesn't mean it's going away. I still get depression every morning.
Yeah.
But every morning I wake up and say, you know what? I enjoy my toys.
Yeah.
I don't want to share them with nobody, so let me get my butt up. Let me go to work and do what I have to do, because as I'm doing something, I'm busy focusing on the task.
Yeah.
That means that's that much less time that I got to be in me.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I've succeeded, is not being in me by keeping active.
Yeah.
Always doing something.
Yeah.
And I learned it. But again, I didn't have nobody. I chose to find somebody.
Right. So it's
and
a
it didn't have to
choice.
be a relationship.
Yeah.
It can be a friend.
Yeah.
My best friend I've known for 30 years, but we're straightforward with each other. If I say, you know what, I'm not feeling good today, you want to go for a walk?
Yeah.
I say, let's go, Daniel, I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's a friend.
Yeah.
Not the one getting high. Oh, you know, I understand. Let's smoke this pipe.
Yeah.
It's the one that says, no, let's go for this walk. Hey, you know what? There's a free concert on tonight. Why don't we go to that? Don't even have to do nothing. Let's just stand there.
Yeah.
Your life just changed.
Yeah.
Just changed.
So we're running out of time. We got like 3 or 4 minutes. I want to get 2 more questions in. Another question I want to ask you, what would you say to the people that may have people around them that may be having mental health crises and they can actually support them, but they're reluctant to do so? What advice would you give them?
I would let them know, well, one of the first things is I like people to understand that they're not broken just because they're struggling with mental health or any kind of defect. They're not broken.
Yeah.
They just haven't learned a path yet. And the best way I've done it is I like carrying information in my car. I carry it on my table at home. And I don't point it out. I just have it there, and I've noticed people will pick it up and read it.
Yeah.
And then they'll ask me, why do you have this, Daniel? Then I can share with them, because that's what I went through.
Okay.
I was struggling, so I went through that program. They helped me do this. They made me figure out this. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
Because people look at me now, they think I have no mental health. And I'm like, no, I do. That's why I'm not married yet.
Okay.
But There's information. Share
Okay.
it.
So people who, in other words, you're saying that people who may have people around them that may be struggling mentally, if you're reluctant about being a support person to them because you don't know how, or you may be afraid, just go out and get some resource and information and be a support to them that way.
Or even relate the feeling. If they're feeling depressed, you could say, man, you know what? I'm not really feeling good today, but I know of this program where there's other people that will talk to me. Will you go with me?
Yeah.
You just changed it.
Yeah. Okay. So name some of the toys that you, because I want people to really know where you know. So just name what some of the things, the toys you have now, the cars. Name some of the things that's going on now.
My most favorite car is I had a Porsche 930.
Yeah.
That hit 0 to 90.
Yeah. You got a Mirage
in first gear.
Okay. So what else?
I have to get out of it.
So what other car?
I've had 2 CLS 500s.
What do you got now?
I just barely sold them. Right now I'm driving my Maserati.
Yeah.
And that one hits 200 miles an hour. Yeah. And I have 2 motorcycles at home that I ride on the weekends, or I bought 2 so that way if a friend wants to ride, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, those are the fun. I own my home. Yeah. So this is my second home. Nobody gave me down deposit. Nobody helped me with it. Yeah. I did it through the work that I did. I saved the money and was able to buy my home, which I could say, you know what? Don't put that there. Yeah. It's my home.
Yeah.
I don't like your attitude. Go. This is my home. But at the same time, I'm able to say, come sit down. Have a seat. Yeah. My granddaughter has her own room. There's nothing more giving than her having her own room and knowing that you have that ability. Yeah. I have a 69 Chevy pickup that I'm working on myself in my truck in my garage that I stripped. Yeah. I painted parts of it already. Found out that I was a painter and didn't even know it.
Yeah. Just Well, the reason I wanted to share that, I mean, we've run out of time, but I wanted to share that because I wanted people to know it's not about the materialistic things, but I wanted people to know that you can come from a bad situation and still own your own home, still have cars, still be guardian of a child, still be, your lifestyle can be productive even with a mental diagnosis. No matter where you've been in prison, no matter what, you can still beat the odds if you're determined to do so.
Well, to me is if you learn to be happy within yourself, regardless of where you're at, anything after that is just going to be continued blessings. Yes. Because it's not the materials or the money that's going to make you happy. It's you learning how to be happy. Yes. That's what's going to change everything for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel. And we've run out of time. And that's it for today's edition of Mental Matters. I really, really hope whoever's watching this program got something out of Daniel's powerful story. He had so much meat to share with you guys. So I hope that you guys got something out of this story. If you like this particular show, if you want a DVD copy of the show, or if you want to be a guest on our show, just dial 916-366-4600. We would love to have you, and have a good day.